Hello guys, and what is up? This is Silence Pew Pew, and we are coming at you with another video. Today guys, we are going to be playing again Age of Empires 3, and we're going to be against that fort. Unfortunately here guys, I forgot about this, and I don't know how to fix this, and we are now blue. Not that that's too big of a deal, just that basically we won't be able to see what these guys are doing or planning necessarily, which might not be too terrible, but now we can look at blue here. As you can see, they have a decent amount of stuff here within this fortress. I'm not sure why that's there, actually. Obviously, like I said, there's still a little bit of improvement I need to do to this game, but anyways, we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to take a quick stroll around the fort, actually. Like I said, we were originally following yellow. I don't know what happened. Every time though, I forgot about this, every time that I save it and I quit out of the game, it does this. So there was an attack that was about to happen. So we're going to see how blue retaliates against it, and their army's not looking too good. But here we go. So it seems like red here is actually going to take most of this force, which wouldn't be too bad, because for blue anyways. As you can see, the trading route does go, it goes through the fortress actually. This took me a decent amount of time to set up. Now like I said, if these guys researched this, these walls would increase their health to like 6,000, maybe 5,000. I don't really remember what it is, but they do increase a decent amount. There's these random towers everywhere. They've got these fortress wagons. Well, they have, yeah, fortress wagons, but you can't build fortresses because you can only have a maximum of one, and they have 4. So here's one, and here's one, and I think over, yeah, right there's one. They've got these things which are you can't build. They're pretty good in the beginning, but you can't upgrade them. As you can see, compared to this one here, the health is much higher, but the damage these things do is better than these guys here. Yeah. Anyways, like the ranged attack specifically, we don't have ships, so it doesn't help. But ranged attack is 45, but against certain people, it's more or less. But as you can see, there's green and purple seem to be doing a decent amount, and we're going to attack actually instead of trying to defend ourselves. Ooh, yellow has a decent amount of forces now. Interesting. I mean, I'm not really worried about this because I don't care who wins, but yeah. And then in the back here, this is a bit more, but as you can see, each of our sections, each place is a section. So obviously here between this gate, there's big open areas so you can walk through, because if you didn't have these big open areas, you wouldn't be able to march men or your settlers to get through, or cows, stuff along those lines. So here's another marketplace. Up here's kind of like the barracks, some barracks, outposts there. Here's some more stables, whatever, you know, things of the liking. Constantly we're going to be getting notifications of now because we're going to be under attack constantly, pretty much. This is not looking like it's going to go away anytime soon. Ooh, they've actually crushed through red pretty good. There used to be a whole line of houses around here, and some stuff up here that they just built. That's all gone now. We need a pipeline to go around now. So, this is a pretty well fortified area. Here are the fortress wagons. Pretty sure I gave them outpost wagons and like one extra fortress wagon, but maybe not. Who knows? The line's telling me something's going on inside here, but whatever. As you can see, they seem to just be stockpiling men here for no real good reason, but whatever. mean, the flight these guys take is still hilarious to me. I mean, look at that. That guy started back here. Look at that. He started back here, and he's way over here now. That is crazy. So that cannon just flew. Oh, wow. Okay, they didn't quite land, but they killed off basically all the armies, though. But unfortunately, I think Blue just lost every single unit he had. And he's got it all back, pretty much. Yeah, with 13 pikemen here.
Pronto.
He can just pump out men so quick. I mean, look at this. He's got 17,000 meat, 28,000 wood, 21,000 coin. And it is partially because I did give him banks. Originally, they were... See, like, I don't know how banks produce money, honestly. In this game, I know how they produce money in real life, but not in this game. I have no idea how they do it. But I've noticed that I originally had him with like 5 banks, but then I took away a bunch of them, and I'm down to 2, I believe it is now. That's what I put that yet too. Just because, like, I noticed, like, he doesn't use these plantations for some weird reason. He likes to send his settlers out here to harvest the gold and stuff like that. But then I gave him those banks, and then he kind of stopped sending his settlers to do anything with gold. Which is fine. Just because. There is another problem that we have. Oh, well, that's weird. Current population is over. Did he use a shipment or something? Just got people sitting here.
Sí.
Going out and attacking, doing all these attacks, stuff like that. Anyways, so, as you can see, these houses here, he has way more than 20 houses.
Hola?
Let me see. Yeah, he's got 28. And the problem with this is that when he's got 28 houses, if 8 of them are destroyed, okay, he has 120 population that he can build. And he can't replace those 8 houses until he gets down to 0 houses, and then he can start over. I don't know why, but this actually, in one of my playthrough tests, went negative. He could have negative 60 people, and I was like, ah, shit. And I think it's still the same, unfortunately, so it's an unfortunate thing. Oh, look at that. He recalled this attack. Why does he pull back sometimes? Like, this probably wasn't a bad time to pull back. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and fast forward here for sure this time. Okay, guys, so we're kind of coming back from our fast forward here moment, or skip ahead. Blue's attacking again. It seems like yellow, though, is the driving force behind this. They seem to really love horses for some reason. I'm not sure why, but sure, we'll go with it. But the rest of the countries here seem to be favoring cannons, basically. Yellow, I think, is the reason that they're actually turning this around. If they all just continued to build cannons, I feel like they would get taken over here very quickly. This guy, okay. Get another fire on. Would you stop shooting settlers and help out? You could take care of all 4 of these guys. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Good job. Did that. Oh, shit. Man, lost all their pikemen here. Look at that. Their numbers basically never change. It's almost always at 200, which is the interesting thing. And they still are failing just because it's basically, at this point, these guys, they let them get their army up. Ooh, Red's attacking. And that's the other thing. You need Red. Red is really, oh man. Red was another driving factor. Oh, wow. Red just, like, built up like a crap ton of random ass shit here for no reason. Okay, then. You didn't need all those guys to do that, but that's fine. What is this guy doing? Is he going to build a trading post? Okay. If they can completely take out the Russians here, I think that'll change a little bit. The Russians have been honestly producing men and attacking. I've seen them a couple times. They also got this trading post here. But, got it. Oh no, you're not gonna be able to destroy that cannon in time. Oh yeah, you are. Because those guys stopped attacking. There, your cannon's going. Oh, here come your men again. See, so let's see. So they're over men again. Oh, they're retreating again. What in the world? Why do they do this stuff? So that's it, Red's just building cannons now. I mean, great if he can take out Orange. I think he's pretty much killed Orange, so that's good, in reality. If he can kill Orange. If he could even just, like, hit up Smash Green a bit more, or something like that.
Y no puedo moverme.
I guess that's the reason they send them in two small groups. And then they let them peel off like that. Like, if they just kept this army marching forward, turned them all to attack this guy. There you go. Take them all back. Oh, no. See, and they leave them up. The AI just played just a little differently. It's a little smarter. What is this big group doing here? Why is this one? They need to be shooting already. Come on. But here, come on, get that thing turned around. Fire into that mess. Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and fast forward. This is where we're gonna fast forward for sure. Blue, you need to just like attack because you've been keeping like your men like up at maximum this whole game. You need to just send in big attack forces each time. Right, you should just move in all your men too. Like, I feel like part of me feels like they're not actually fully trying. I also don't know why yellow comes up and around. Like, I don't know why they keep going after this one mainly. They're actually fighting the fortress now. Well, half of them. I guess the half that got drawn into the fight. They're trying to break through, though. They're gonna get through this wall, for sure. No problem. Why they're attacking their settlers over here, I'm not really sure. I mean, that's why this outpost is here. But still, what are you doing? Okay, you just let the wall get broken. Yeah, that's fine. I understand. Okay, they're actually being smart here now. I don't know what these five are doing, but sure. They just pretty much fucked over. Okay, why are you guys attacking the settlers? If the AI would just attack the units instead of the settlers, they would do so much better. Oh, this is gonna be bloody. I mean, Green's got had a decent sized force down here. They've kind of slowly lost it. But, oh, Blue, please do not pull back. Please press forward with the attack. They were going to destroy that trading post, but Red already did it. Okay, that'll work. Just send in Alpha. Whatever. I don't know where Red's going. Red has no idea. Are they just trying to burn down this tower here? I don't know what Red's doing. Oh man, they're just getting lit up because Red has no idea what they want to do. Oh my god, these guys, this is only a first level tower. Oh my, oh man, this would have been a beautiful attack. Blue kept half his forces back, not too big of a deal. Oh man, I don't know how the hell Blue is cheating so bad. Well, what the man? Oh my god, is this field gun? This is that same one. This one's only been at 9 health this entire... for a long ass time. It's just wrecking through shit. And these towers don't have the range for it. Stop to attack settlers, and what happens is then the forces, the armies, come out and meet them, and then half of them break off and attack, and the other half keep going forward to attack, and it just kills them every time. If they would just focus on like green or yellow, really, they could do so much better. Problem is, every time they get here, they're fighting armies that are basically the same size as them. Most of the time, they have more than that. Destroy this building. That'd be nice if they could. Not gonna change a whole lot. Ooh, if there was cannons, I bet you those cannons were on their way to attack. They came back for some reason. And instead of attacking the fucking cannons that are shooting them, they're attacking the settlers. Look at that. Okay, there you go. Oh, at least these guys are shooting down. Ooh, we just lost a bunch of men there. Oh, this guy's just gonna stand here. We were told to go here. And here's yellow with their force again. Alright, I mean, they're coming through here, they're killing green a little bit, but they're wasting their time on those settlers. I don't know why. Ooh, okay, so if red, yeah, holy shit. Oh my god. If red uses this properly, this is end here. They're not going to. And since blue is, if they move in their units correctly, oh, okay then. If blue moves in their units correctly, and so does red here, this is it. That's gonna fuck up one group for sure. There's gonna be almost nothing they can do. But it's only if they do it right, which they're not going to. I 100% guarantee. Yeah, I don't know where they're trying. I guess they're gonna try to blow up this thing, which is fine, sure. But what are these things? I can't see their range. Shit. All right. What are they doing? Oh my god! What are you guys doing? Please. Okay. All right, blow up that thing now. Oh man, they're gonna mess this up. I cannot watch this. Oh no. Oh man. Oh, and blue got. Half their army got picked apart, like I said. Oh. Like I said again though, guys, I don't think that I have a lose condition set up for these 4 nations here, so... What's red got coming in? So some more horses, nice. Oh, that's not... Okay. Oh, look at that. They finally decided to come kill this stupid thing that had 9 health for so freaking long. Yeah, I think green's fucked at this point. They don't have much left. They lost a lot of settlers here and there, and now they just... Ooh, okay, yellow's coming in here to save the day a bit, but yellow, or purple and green have been fucked up pretty good. Yellow definitely can't win this war by themselves. However, their economies should be pretty much close. As you can see though, blue's just through the roof. He can just build, but he might not be able to build fast enough. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any way, actually. I don't think, like, even if red was gone and yellow was the only one left, they could take out blue. And if they could, it'd be a long-ass drive, just because this defense is too great. Like, all these towers here, just, they'd have way too long. Unless they got another one of those dudes. The guy just fucked up this whole thing. Like, he took out those 3 towers there. Probably he was the reason that he took out those 3 towers. Oh, wow, they lost this. Okay. They fucked up green, though. That's truthfully what happened there. The tower, or the fortress got broken open there. Oh, they lost the fortress. Oh, I didn't even notice that. And, red built houses inside. That's pretty funny, actually. Oh, they're gonna attack yellow now. They're bringing the fight to them. Because they know green, purple, and orange are pretty much done for. I do want to say that I pretty much think this is it. I mean, once this force gets here, that's going to be huge. But, I mean, if red ever decides to move out, it'd be good. Whether they do or not, who knows. But either way, I am pretty sure the instant that red here moves their army in, I think it's over. I don't think there's much they can do. I mean, yellow's pretty much dead at this point. Yellow's been trying. And they've been slowly killing them, but they just can't keep up now. The game's pretty much over at this point. We're gonna watch, though, just a bit longer. Probably speed it up. Green has a few troops. I haven't seen a purple army in a while. But doesn't mean not. They don't have it. They've pretty much come through and killed yellow now. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have win conditions set, so even if they killed every single person on the map, they're going to keep playing. And one way we can check that kind of even is if we came down here and bought a spy for them. It's only 7,000. That wouldn't even work. Up there's red moving in now. That's going to be game. Once red gets there, it's good. There's almost no way you can mess this up. That's not as many cannons as they had last time, but that is a lot more horses. That should be able to help protect a decent ass amount. There's no way you can mess this up. Blue's pretty much come through and killed yellow off, so yellow's dead. For sure. Yellow's got nothing left. Oh, they got that guy. Red's army, okay, they're attacking now. Yeah, they're fucking shit up. Like I said, I haven't seen purple's army, but there's a guy or two. You probably got a couple more building wherever their thing is. Oh, it's right here. What are you doing? What is it? Oh, green's down here. Okay, that's what green did. Oh. My bad, guys. That's what green did. Whoa. They sent their army up here. It wasn't a very big one, but it killed the dog back there that I saw. So. Oh, the dog's alive again. Yeah. What in earth is red doing? Yeah, this should be over already, but red is dragging it out. Like, red can just have these cannons come through, crush everything. Purple's still trying to build. They must have a lot of resources still. So we're gonna see some of the post-game actions and stuff like that. Basically, that's what we're gonna be looking for here. Oh, you got me. Okay, good. They got attacked. No, blue. Finish him off. Oh my gosh, they're just killing yellow now. Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They did a decent amount of damage to this fortress. I mean, they still had a lot more to go through before they even made a dent in it. But they opened it up for sure. It's gonna... In reality, this would be a decent amount of damage to a single base. However, according to the game, it would not take very long for them to rebuild all this stuff. They're fat. I mean, they're fat. That's all there is to say about that. They're freaking fat. They're loaded. Red is probably even freaking loaded. Like, this is over 150,000 resources, basically. Oh, Red's deploying their attack that they literally just got back from. Wonder if Blue's going in. Up with 3 dudes. That dog can't get out. Now, this should end the game if Red attacks correctly with them and not blows up a few buildings and then leaves. Oh, look, Blue's moving back in, too. Okay, here we go. Now we're into the attacking again here. Can you guys destroy these cannons before they light you up? What are you doing? I mean, they don't do that much damage to people. I'm pretty sure these are more siege things, but still. Yeah, I guess they're good against ships. That's really about it, I guess, huh? I mean, they're resistant to damage, so that's nice. Oh, yeah. Blue could probably actually do this here by themselves with these guys. I don't know why he didn't really build that many cannons. He did in the beginning, but then he kind of strayed away from them a bit. So we're gonna call it, I think, when these town centers are gone and they're settlers. Yeah, we're gonna call it here very, very soon. Yeah, I think all their settlers are dead. The town center's dead for sure. Let me come here. We're just gonna buy this for them just because I kind of want to see. They don't have anything. Yeah, this is it. Alright guys, that's it. There's nothing left. They don't have any settlers left, that's the main thing. Once you don't have any settlers, you're done. Decent amount of damage to the fortress here on the outsides for sure. They took out this whole area here. There used to be, you know, stand out here. Oops, equal up to there with a fortress inside and a tower or two. They damaged this, they damaged this, but they just didn't do much, you know? They did a decent amount, but not enough. And when you got an army this size here left over, Red's still attacking for whatever reason, who cares? I mean, at this point you could reuse these buildings if you wanted to. They're not going to do stuff like that, I'm just saying. The Portugals here have decided to build that thing. They just don't have any men to build with it. But that is pretty much it, guys. So we're going to go ahead and call it quits. The Russians got kicked out pretty early in the game. However, I did notice that they had random troops appearing, and they did do a decent amount of attacking actually on red, but it didn't change anything. So we're going to go ahead and resign. Nothing really is going to change. It's just going to say that I lost, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and view the post-game here. Okay, and we're going to see basically all of these pieces of information. So obviously total score, blue obviously way high. Least was obviously the Russians due to them being kind of taken out pretty early in the game. And then green did a decent job, it actually looks like, but didn't quite have enough there. As you can see, experience rewards, which doesn't matter, but whatever. Blue gained basically all of them. Most improvements, most military units. Look at that. Most units killed, most units lost also, and the highest score. That's actually a lot of units. Holy cow. Was it worth it? I mean, the trade-off of units killed for units gained or units lost. Yikes. I mean, to hold that fortress, though, and you remained the big powerhouse in the area, if that was the story we were going with, you know, that was probably worth it, but you lost a lot. Least amount of resources, though, he can't get the most and the least, but he had the most at 300,000. That's a lot. Wow. Okay, we're going to click on resources here now. Oh, well, he didn't even have the most wood or the most coin. Green had the most coin. He was not too far behind. Oh, wow. Red actually had more than him, though. Jeez. That is a lot of coin. Holy cow. Like, this is actually... I can't believe Green made this much resources. He had no food, though. He was starving his people. Holy shit. Red had a lot of food. That's a decent amount, actually. Wood. Nobody really seemed to have a lot of wood. Wood's a bit more tricky because you have to have the forest, and I can build only so many forests on the map before it just is because it's impossible to move your units through, and it looks weird because the whole map is weird. Player 6 did not gain any free resources. That's fine. I didn't put any treasure or exports. You can't do those, so there's 0 there. Blue gained the most free units. Not very many, but a decent amount, as you can see. Let's go to economy. Okay, so all resources, obviously he had the most, and then the second most was red, followed by green. So green definitely seemed to be the power player, kind of on the other team. However, I noticed that he was building cannons for a while there, and the cannons are great, but the problem is you need another person building units then, like ground units, and that's where yellow started to come in. Yellow really started to turn those tides of battles that you guys probably saw, because you may have one cannon for my 3 horses, and when I have, you know, if you have 10 cannons lined up, and I have 30 horses lined up, you know, your 10 cannons are going to do a lot of damage to me before I get to you, but once I get to you, you're pretty much done, because you just can't attack nearly as fast as I can. And that's what I was saying basically the whole time. You need men to hold the battlefield. Spent on units. Holy cow, Green actually spent more on units. However, he had way more units. And that's because Green was buying those big hefty units, those tanks, cannons, not tanks, cannons. Wow, Yellow had a lot of men as well, almost as many as Blue. Spent way more than Blue. Holy cow. Spent on buildings? Yeah, they didn't have to build any. Theirs were already all built. So, you know, that's one thing they had for them, though. You know, they didn't have to build many. Red didn't technically either. They just did because they didn't have a lot, but they had enough, you know. And then these guys here, they just... I can't believe this guy built 54, and Yellow only built 36. That's crazy, actually. Spent on improvements. Obviously, we already knew that from the awards. Unspent resources, over 170,000 unspent resources. That means he still has 170,000 resources he can still spend. Green had a lot, actually. Holy cow. Military, okay. Military count, obviously nobody even close. Green and Yellow, nothing. Units killed, 1,200. Red or yellow killed. No, they didn't. Okay, green killed the most. Because in the beginning they were doing so much better, and then yellow didn't start doing much until about mid-game, end-game kind of thing. And green was doing pretty much the best. Pretty much in the beginning of the game. Started to die off in the mid-game, but then held it together kind of in the end game. In the end game, they started to lose though again. Buildings raised. Obviously, these two are going to be way high. These guys have the potential to be higher. However, they just need to be winning. Units lost. Obviously, Russians lost the least because they died so quickly. Like we talked about earlier, they lost 1,500. Crazy. Buildings lost 76. That is actually more than I thought they would have lost. Wow, they were the most. So, favorite unit: 733 pikemen. Holy cow! That's half his army. Did he? Yeah, he. That's almost half his army. That's a little less than half his army. Half his army were pikemen. Holy cow. Total experience doesn't matter. Awards doesn't really matter. Building and training. Again, green coming through with a clutch and pulling that stuff up. So buildings and training, that's the XP. Blue, they didn't need to build things. They just needed to train units. So that's why they didn't have that. Combat-wise, blue, nobody even came close. Not even red. Red was the second highest, but you know, again. And then here we have the timeline. So obviously, nobody was ever like even close to the total like military count or all unit count that blue was. Like at some points, blue starts off at 130. Okay, which is pretty high, but it's not something that's impossibly crazy high. So it seems like right here, about 6 minutes in, he just pumped out a decent amount of units. He just goes to his maximum there. I don't know how he kept breaking over, but I mean, look at this. So he's at the Imperial Age, the last age you can be at when most of these guys are getting to 3. Yeah, all of those guys got to pretty much 3 at the same time, and he's already at the Imperial Age. Like, he got to the Second Age, the Third Age, and the Fourth Age before these guys even got to the Third Age. Now, these guys all seem to have gotten to the Second Age before him, which is interesting. And seems like yellow never made it to the 5th age. Neither did orange, but orange was expected. He died off pretty much right here. As you can see, he kind of came back. But this is where you really want to check. We're going to click on team here, and then boom. That is where we need, this is the big point that I wanted to make here. There was a point here where those 4 versus those 2, they were actually equal with them, and then they passed them. And then attacks happened, and then they went back up. These guys went down a little bit, but they didn't go down too far. Look at this. I mean, and if they would have been more strategic in their attacks here, in the mid-game time, they could have kept this going, theirs going up, and blue's going down. They could have. However, they didn't, and they kept failing. Somewhere around here, there was a huge attack that happened, and they both took a plummet. But blue took much bigger of a plummet, as you can see. But they just couldn't recover in time, like blue could. I mean, just look at that curve going back up. They literally got back up to their 407 units in like 5 minutes. They gained basically 150 units in 5 minutes. These guys gained what? These guys gained about 100, I guess, which isn't terrible, but no, not even. Actually, like 80. They basically gained like 80 units. But they were just such a big difference there. 280 and, 400. That's a huge difference. And especially when you're not pushing them all the same direction. Now, this is settlers and military. So if we switch to the military count, obviously it's much different scale. As you can see here, though, as we were talking about, that's that big dip that we were talking about earlier. I mean, just look at that. They were, when that attack happened, they got pretty close. They were good here. However, blue attacked at this point and they dropped. and then they started to build back up. Blue kept attacking with small waves, and they built back up pretty good there. I don't know what happened there, but they did good. Blue came in and attacked a few times, went down and up, and then they got these huge, crazy spikes where they just go from 100 to 210, basically, like that. The crazy, that's just outstanding how quickly they can do that. Now, military unit population. Okay, this is actually probably more what we want. So, yes. So the other one is units. So if I build a cannon that's worth 5 guys, and he builds all pikemen, which are all worth 1, my unit count will be lower, but my population will be the same if he builds 5 pikemen for my 1 cannon. So this is actually the one we want to look at. And as you can see, they stayed pretty close. Almost this entire game, they stayed pretty close. You know, the 2 big attacks that we were talking about are right here and here. I mean, you can just see their military count drop. And these guys skyrocketed, but somehow those guys still skyrocketed with them. They were able to recover just as fast, and faster actually. And when that happened, they sent out that attack, and that was it. They dropped straight down. There's like no... That's all like within a minute. That's crazy. Now these guys dropped too, but not nearly as bad. And they were also gaining still. These guys, they did gain a little bit, but not much. You can see their slow trickle to their death. Down to 0. So that is pretty much it, guys. We're not going to really look at any of this other stuff. That doesn't too much matter. As you can see, these guys actually gained more resources in total, which is interesting. Not that it's bad on them or bad on him, it's just that they gained more resources. They had much more settlers to provide. Trading posts, this is just, you know, he started off with all of them. They started off with 0, his went down and up, down and up, down and up, and then eventually they kind of just leveled out where they both only had 2 or 3 each. Doesn't really matter. XP total, that doesn't matter. Military score, as you can see, they actually started to catch him in military score. I don't know how your military score goes down. I don't know what happens, how you get your military score to go down, but whatever. Ages, as we talked about, some of these guys didn't even make it to age 5. So we'll go back to individual ones here. Like, these guys made it to age 3. Purple, Jesus Christ, the Russians. Yellow made it to age 4. I don't know why though. Like, why didn't they finish? You know, red actually was the last to gain 5. Have people gain 5. Yellow probably would have been, but I guess mid-game they just decided we're gonna build armies, because that's when they started building the horses. Anyways, guys, this has been a really long video. I'm sorry about that. Thank you guys though for watching. If you guys like this stuff, I'm gonna tweak this a bit more, and I'm actually gonna make it maybe a bit more difficult for the 4 players to win. I have a few ideas in mind, and then I'm actually gonna give it a try myself and see if I can't, as one of the 4 players, turn this thing around. The goal is hopefully I can't turn it around. I want to try to figure out how to make the blue AI harder, because he obviously comes in, does attacks, and then pulls back. Not making much sense. Just finish through with the attack. If he would do that, he would wipe out easily. He would have easily killed off the Russians, and maybe even the Dutch in the beginning of the game, which would have put a huge... It would have been impossible then, you know. So I want to see if I can make it to where basically the AI loses in like 20, maybe 30 minutes, and then I want to see if I can't jump in and win. With it, hopefully I won't be able to jump in and win. The idea is though that I can drag out the game for, you know, 80 minutes again, basically, and damage his fortress a decent amount. And then the idea is that you'll have to have like 2 or 3 people, and then maybe 1 AI. And once you get to that 2 people, maybe you can do it with 2 people, maybe you can't. But with 3 people, you should be able to. If you guys are working solidly, even with the AI doing something stupid, you should be able to solidly beat this fortress. The idea is that 2 people, you have more men and more stuff technically than blue will have, whoever blue is at that time. You'll always have more capability than him. He'll be producing much more resources than you. He'll be able to build units much faster than you will. But the idea is that if he builds 5 units and you each build 2, you guys have 8 units where he just built 5. See the point there? So in reality, you should be able to do it. You just need good strategy. That's legitimately it. You need to be able to protect each other, and that's pretty much it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you thought down in the comments, and thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys all in my next video.